Note that when the Advanced Alarm Management connector is added to an XLReporter project, that two report templates are also added with it, Alarm Report and Alarm Analysis. Let's take a look at some of the information that these templates can generate using the On-Demand Reports client. And both of these reports function by selecting a start and end time for the report period and clicking refresh. The data that I have is a bit older, so I'll go back to 2017, June 1st to August 8th, and refresh the report for that time period. Note that the report is loaded by default to a dashboard sheet, which shows up some high-level ISA information. For example, the total number of new alarms we had in this roughly 2-month period is around 44,000. We had 245 alarm floods, or periods of high new alarm activity. We also had 58 different sources of stale alarms, or alarms that are activated for long periods of time, and we had 130 alarms still active at the end of this period on August 8th. Now, if we look at the first row of metrics here about average alarm rates, you can see we're squarely in the manageable area for average alarms per day over the period, average alarms per hour, and average alarms per 10 minutes. But if we look at the simultaneous alarm statistics, the amount of time that we had over 30 active alarms per hour and 10 active alarms per 10 minutes, we're squarely in the critically unmanageable area. The flood metric shows the percentage of the time in which the facility had more than 10 new alarms per 10-minute period. The top 10 contribution shows the percentage of all alarm activity generated by the top 10 bad actors. The chattering fleeting metric shows how many alarms existed with extremely short activation periods during the time. Think of something like a KPI constantly oscillating above and below an alarm threshold, generating an abnormally high amount of alarm activity. And we also had 271 stale alarms in this period, which are alarms that stay active for longer than 24 hours. The average alarms per hour during floods is over 100, which is also squarely in the critically unmanageable area. But the average alarm rate per hour excluding alarm floods is only 5.89, which is in the acceptable area. Now, behind each of these metrics is a detailed report going into the data behind the metric, and we'll take a look at those. Now, I won't go over every single one of these sheets in detail, but perhaps the three most interesting ones, in my personal opinion, could be the distribution, alarm source, and alarm flood sheets. If we take a look at the distribution sheet, we can see the alarms broken down over the reporting period by the priority, so info, advisory, warning, and critical. And we can also see the average alarm rate broken down into bins of acceptable for less than or equal to 1, manageable between 2 and 4, demanding 5 to 9, and unacceptable greater than or equal to 10 as a pie chart. And we can also see the alarms broken down by priority by day over the period. And then we can also see for the worst day the alarms broken down by hour by priority. On the alarm source sheet, we can see the information behind the top 10 contribution metric. So you can see that's where we get the 31.1% figure here, and these are the top 10 bad actors in the process in descending order. And on the alarm flood sheet, we can see every time the process was in a flood, which is a period of more than 10 new alarms in 10 minutes, with the particularly egregious floods highlighted with red formatting. For example, if we take a look at some of these, you can see that there is a flood that lasted 560 minutes with an average simultaneous alarm rate of 56 and 869 total alarms in that period. That might be something worth investigating on its own, for example. Now, if we take a look at the alarm analysis report, this one works the same way. We just pick the time period and refresh it. We'll see that this one is more of a tool for kind of searching or mining through the alarm data. If I go back to June 1st here, to August 8th, this one displays by default every alarm message that occurred in the process in the reporting period. So here we have about 117,000 unique alarm messages. What this tool is really good for is filtering down so we can see the journey of a particular type of alarm or a particular area or module. And for example, if I just wanted to see all of the new alarm activations in the period, I could filter on the active unacknowledged state. And now I've got 43,797 rows, which corresponds to the new alarms figure back on the ISA dashboard. And if I wanted to take a look at, say, only critical alarms, I could set the level. And if I wanted to take a look at a particular area, I can filter that as well. So how about we take a look at fermentation. And then once we do that, we can see that for this process area, for this 2-month period, they really only had 3 critical alarms. So I guess the point of emphasis here is that while the ISA dashboard report can show you the ISA metrics that are important to alarm management, this tool can be used to see things from a different perspective and allow you to get really detailed information at a quick glance out of your alarm system. Now let's take a look at how these reports are put together or configured, which will also let us transition over to demonstrating how custom reports can be generated using the Advanced Alarm Management Connector.